So welcome. We're going to be looking at how to re-embody our felt sense of divine timing. There's a reset in the collective consciousness happening now, which means that many of us will be being supported to reconnect with an embodied sense of divine timing to a new depths in ways that go beyond what we're already working with and what we already recognize. So you know when you just have a sense of, I've got to do this now. And you know that if you don't do it now, and you think, oh, it's all right, I'll just know that I've got to do it now. I'll put it on a list and then I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll do it the next day, or I'll do it the day after that. And then you come to it 3 days later and the energy just isn't there. And you think, I thought of it then because that was the divine timing. That was when the energy was there and it would have flowed. I would have been doing that with the full support of the universal energy. And that's what we mean when we say divine timing. So the reset in consciousness that's happening in the collective field now that we're able to see from where we're looking is supporting a reset in how we are grounded within the dimension of time and how the body is grounded within the dimension of time. So that's what today's live is going to be about, and we are going to do a little bit differently. So I think just having a sense today feels a bit different to the way we've done this before. It feels a little special in the sense that I can feel the guides who have gathered with us feel pretty special today. We were just noticing that there was looking for the right noun here, engineers from many different star systems gathered to collaborate in bringing through the new time matrix and actually working with us here and now in this field, specifically in this field, in this energy environment, for everyone who's going to be a part of this broadcast to receive, to be worked with individually, to receive the activations and the alignments that help bring this through in a real smooth way so it can be kind, graceful. I know GevaAnn and I, when we were picking this up in the field a couple of days ago, it felt like there was a cyclone brewing energetically, and it felt really important to be in the eye of the storm for this reset that's happening in the field now. So we're going to go a little differently today and start with an alignment meditation just to bring ourselves home into our center. But first I want to say thank you, because the guides, the collaboration of engineers who are here, I mean, we were asking what star systems are these guys showing up from, and with Sirius, the Pleiades, Andromeda, Arcturus, Mintaka, Lyra, Pegasus. Did I say Arcturus? You know, have we covered them all? I think. And there's a real beautiful collaboration. Like you were saying, GevaAnn, this is the name of it. Community is the name of it at the moment, the way things are working. And the guides are really being a demonstration of that today. That they are literally bringing in the matrix before we embark on our little adventure. So get comfy. For those of you who don't know, I'm Lucy, and this is GevaAnn, or GevaAnn-Voice of Gaia. Both open channels, both oracles, both seers, both energy workers are both here really to demonstrate that so is everybody else if they want to be. It's kind of our work, is bringing through the activational stuff that puts us all in touch with our own inner oracle and opens us up to our divine remembering. So that's what we're here for. Let's dive in, guys. Before I do, GevaAnn, is there anything you want to jump in with before we just rock in?
No, I don't think so. I think we start with this meditation and gets us all into the same place. Thanks.
I just want to apologize. If you're watching this in the Facebook group, I'm not going to be able to see the comments. Some weird thing which I hope we can get resolved. If you do want to make a comment, find me on Infinity Resonance Facebook page or Infinity Resonance YouTube. And then I'll be able to see your comments. But just today in the group, they're not going to show up, which is really frustrating. So I'm just explaining. Like, if you want to chat with us later, that's the way forward. Okay, guys. Let's stop it. Taking these moments to close the outward facing eyes, to make the intention, let go of whether it works or not, to make the intention to drop the seat of seeing down into the heart and center now, as though part of us is reclined, relaxed, just dropping in, taking a seat, opening to notice that sensation of breath in the body, the in, the out. As though that's all there was in the world for this moment. This rhythm, this breath, this sensation. And here we are, right in the center of ourselves. Nothing to do for this moment. Falling into that silence. Opening to notice sensations in the whole body field as vibrations, not stories. Allowing everything that's here to be as it is. There's no right or wrong way we should be feeling right now. Release ourselves from that. And noticing what happens to that rhythm of the breath when we rest attention here in our heart and center, and open to notice the sensation of it in the body. Let's welcome it as it is. Is it fast or slow, regular, irregular? What are the feelings that rise up in the heart that are here now that come with it? Without naming them, let's welcome them as vibration. Let everything gather for these moments now. Everything is welcome. There is no wrong way to be feeling right now. And try and understand it or name it, fix it or make it go away. Focus on allowing, welcoming, noticing. Know that we are the field of love within which all these sensations are arising, within which the rhythm of love is, within which emotions and vibrations move. And we are the one experiencing these. We are even the vibrations themselves. But where do we want to sit right now? I invite you to make the intention to drop attention into the heart, center, and still point. To fall inwards. So you're floating, held. Nothing needed in this now moment. Notice if we're relaxing into the silence. Notice those parts of us that don't want to relax and might feel tense. Allow them to be as they are, thoughts, tightness, sensations, constrictions, whatever feels listless or restless is welcome here now. But as our listlessness rises up, we can let consciousness drop down below it. Below that activity, tension, as though it's a pebble sinking to the ocean floor. Coming finally to rest in its rightful place in this moment, now. And everything else is more than the dust that rises up from the ocean floor when the pebble hits it and lands. Let that rise. Now there is an ocean of things going on above these deeps all the way up to the surface of consciousness. It's not necessary to swim up there with it. You can land here and be here now, and it will all go on just the same. All the tides of life, all the rhythms and patterns, all the mechanisms, all the clockwork, all the timing engines. Everything will continue even while we drop in. So we are not the managers of our rhythms and patterns. We do not manage how often we take a breath, at least not all the time. How often our heart beats, and how those biorhythms nest and nestle within the natural rhythms that are the life rhythms, the breath of the planet. For what is a rhythm but a breath? The tide is a breath, the lunar cycle a breath, the rotation of the planets around the sun. Rhythms and patterns that have their own natural trajectory, one fitting within another, fitting within another, fitting within another. And so we have our rhythms and patterns in the center of ourselves, perfectly placed in the dance of all that is. And all we have to do to contact our natural place in the divine rhythms and patterns of the cosmos is to take 1 or 2 moments to be here now and breathe. Be in the center, the fulcrum, the heart space, and listen to the body, to the breath, to the heart beat. Letting all else rise up and leave our attention while we do this. Just letting it go. So if you notice physical sensations happening now, quite often when we drop into this space, things will rise up. So we're going to spend a few moments being with what rises and allowing it. Welcome anything you notice without trying to name it if you can. Be that space that's listening, the field that's listening to what's rising within it. What rises up in these moments, when it's heard and allowed to be as it is, can dissolve, can transform, can release what it's holding on to, but not if we force it, only if we listen. So trust that there are expansions happening now. These words, this meditation is like the top of the iceberg, and there is much going on underneath, and we can allow these movements, these deeper movements, these deeper realignments happening now. So you're invited to bring your attention to your toes, soles of feet, as well as the center of the chest. These anchor points, feeling the connection between those 2 points just now. And know there are realignments taking place in the deeps. You don't need to know what they are. You can just trust that they are our rhythms coming home to their natural patterns. There's just the breath and the body here now. I'm sure there's everything else as well. So at this point, you're invited to invoke those you work with now, those who support you in the inner realms, those beloved guides, beings, masters, or simply your higher self, your God consciousness, the infinite, all it is, or just love. What do you call to? Invoke that support now, and when you feel to, say a yes. Give it a yes. Invite in what can benefit you in the most benevolent, loving, kind, and gentle way. That would be my suggestion. You'll have your own phrasing. I usually add, I open to receive only what's for me in a way that's most benevolent now with thanks. I connect only with those of unconditionally loving integrity. Now, throughout this, I'm going to suggest that we keep concentrating on the breath, returning attention to the breath, but also to the sensations moving in the body, so that we're really listening to when do we need a little bit of a stretch. Don't get locked in physically or go too stale or tight while we're receiving the energy, because energy needs to move. It's energy that's here to be embodied. And it's our bodies that are talking at this time. Very general statement there, but let's include them. So when our bodies move us, so this is the invitation now, is that as you breathe in, let the breath turn into a stretch. Let the stretch turn into a movement, and listen right into the core of your torso, all the way to the tips of fingers and toes. Listen to how the body wants to move. How is it moving you? Let the breath become a movement. Take your time and listen to what feels really good. Where is your body tight? Where does it want to scrunch? Where does it want to open? Where does it want to twist? And obviously, you know your body and your own limits, so be careful and honor the movements that are right for you. But know that when we're doing this is our body's way of integrating vast energetic changes and reconfigurations. Beautiful way to bring it all the way in. And essentially what we're going to be opening to is expansive. So it's going to be opening up new energy pathways. New connections are going to be firing up. And that means more of the voltage, shall we say, can run through our circuitry. So it can affect how we physically feel. So be gentle, stay safe. I wouldn't do this standing up, would be my recommendation. Or if you are, make sure you're surrounded by soft things. When we are working with energy, we do bring it into the body. Like I say, sometimes we let in a much higher voltage and sometimes that can happen suddenly. So gentle, listening movements. Sitting down or at least somewhere you're going to be caught by soft things if you have a moment where it overtakes you. So. And when you're ready, settling back down into the heart and the center, returning attention to notice the breath and the rhythm without really needing to get a reading from that. And we're going to open our eyes when we're ready. I suggest staring at something like the floor, but keeping attention on how we feel inside. And if attention comes out, close the eyes again. And really only opening to take in more of the room, fully anchored on how we feel within. Okay, so there's just quite a lot moving. Honoring how we feel right now. What's our internal process, our personal internal process? What's needed? You can keep your eyes closed if that helps throughout the transmission, and really honor what you're feeling while you're hearing the words that are spoken. It feels like there's a lot of guides and beings who could and would be more than happy to come through and speak today. So in honor of that, in honor of us, keep our attention within. Okay, and these moments of silence are going to include energy transmission to just a few while we're making that shift from being in meditation to opening to receiving transmission. And just acknowledging that the gifts they're bringing in today are, well, they require a collaboration of engineers. This is not small stuff. Okay, thank you so much. GevaAnn, love, I can feel you've got words coming and I don't want to hold back a moment longer.
Thank you, lovely. That was brilliant and really feeling a good place. Thank you. It feels like we have a beautiful container that we're sitting within now, and it's busy. There's a lot of beings here. So let's see who wants to speak first. Beloved ones, It is with great delight that we are with you. It is with great delight. Love is flowing. And we are here to assist you to embody. 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 It is an honor and a great delight to be here at this momentous time. At this momentous time. Time. There is such joy, such sparkle as you come into true time. As you allow yourself, all that you are, but especially your body, to be in divine time. And we are here to assist you to allow this within your body and within your world. For this is our domain. For as you come into a deeper divine timing and allow your body to be active within this timing, you come to a deeper level of supporting our beloved Gaia. For you are in timing with her. As you allow yourselves to come into divine timing, you allow yourselves to be in time with beloved Gaia. And all of life here, all of life. For all in the reality here is life. And you are welcome. 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 Call upon us, beloved ones, to assist you in your embodying process at any time, and in any place. For we are here, and it is our joy to be with you at this time and to assist you now. We are. Your elemental friends. And this is Pan. Thank you. Sorry.
I love when you do this. That you get the cosmic joke. This is your way of clearing things. It's so healthy.
Yeah, it was kind of like, I knew it was elemental, obviously, but then this is Pan. And it's not that often that he speaks in his own, he gives that I have purely that energy that speaks in that way. Yeah. So lovely to feel him again. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. There's a lot come through. I mean, when you're speaking, I stopped listening to the words and I'm just getting the realize like there's messages behind the words. that kind of want to unpack, and it's like there's such good deliverers. The way you you get out of the way for this. Thank you. So feels like we might be bouncing backwards and forwards. Is it you or is it me? Feels like it might be.
It's you now.
Feels like it. So let's go with that. Hey, yeah. Hey, this is a bit shifting gear, but also shifting and clearing from the field.
Yeah.
So yeah, gather, allow yourselves to feel the vibrations that maybe aren't so comfortable right now. Trust that you're being supported to shift. Every time we drop into grace, the memories and the grief and the not love, of not grace, can rise up and clear a bit from our fields. So there's just an interlude where this is what's happening now. So whatever vibrations you've got feeling in the body, just make them welcome. Let them go. This is the old leaving. Doesn't need to be understood or named, just loved and thanked. Shiny. China. Thank you. There is much for you to do. We do not often say this. We speak to you of beingness, yes? Not now. There is much for you to do. And how do you know when to do what you have to do? This is a cause for confusion, no? For chaos and for freezing and for complications and an inability to make decisions. And the why of this is so often that the what you do and when you do it has for so long, and by necessity, by order of necessity, been the domain of the mind. While you were all disconnected from your innate divine remembering of the God consciousnesses that you are and know yourselves to be, and are ever deepening your embodiment of, what did you have to manage your activities within this plane of consciousness that you call Earth? But the mind, your very good friend, the manager, the orchestrator, not just of the furtherance of your own experiences into the explorations of separation consciousness, disconnectivity from God consciousness, but the manager, the analyzer, and ultimately the decision maker. Lifting from the heart and the body as a felt vibratory knowingness of sensed timing for when to do what. Everything lifted, not into the domain of, there was a lifting away from the body, away from the heart, to give this ultimate decision-making role to the mind. As you reconnect with your divine consciousness, your remembering of God consciousness embodied, the body is listening to the heart. The heart is listening to the infinite. And the mind can listen to them all and is deposed from its unwanted tyranny. As once again you can vibrate physically with the rhythms and patterns that put you in your divine place in the dance of life. It is a mandala of movement, much like clockwork, but a little less clunky. And it is physically feelable because your bodies are coming online. Your bodies are listening to the heart, which is listening to the all that is, but more than this. The gateways to source in every cell of the body, in every mechanism of the body are opening, ever opening, to be receiving directly the divine guidance of what is now. What is now? And the mind can relax a little and take some of its prompts from its physical impulses as these return to a new realignment with the all that is, the rhythms and patterns of nature as they return vibrationally to govern the rhythms and patterns of your bioenergetics. Your body clock's coming home to the universal tick, the universal rhythm. Why not? Indeed, why not? How long has it been? How would you measure how long it has been to live as a body outside the flow of universal timing, the rhythms and patterns? It is yet another exploration of free will, of exploring what it means to be a consciousness, making decisions in disconnectivity to the all that is, to the innate God consciousness, where you could create time, you could concoct time, you could concoct constructions and structures to live by, where you decide what time is, you think what time is, then you say it is so, then you draw it on a map, and then you divide the day by numbers that are thought, that are concepts, that are telling reality what it is, telling time always what it is, how it must behave. And then you must live by these constructs, yes? So we really are here to speak on the dissolution of some of these constructs now. And the preparation for the continued dissolution of them all. And the re-emergence of your natural felt rhythms and patterns as the governance from which arise new structures, new constructs, new ways of dividing the day and mapping out timelines and time zones that come from a listening place. Because when you connect and your body is connected, you vibrate as a listening being, as a cell within you all that is, that has its place and knows its part and cannot be any longer under the illusion of considering itself separate. So what is it? It's a listening cell of consciousness. And when it is listening, it feels the tides, it feels the rhythms, it knows when is time for what. Why? Because that's when the energy is there. The energy arises. And the energy arises because the gateways are open, the universal flow is interrupted, and out it comes as an energy that the human body and even the human mind can recognize if it would but give itself permission for. This is work that so many of you are doing. You are changing your permissions so that the mind is not a hindrance to this continuing, ongoing reset into unity that's being so deeply embodied now by you all at different levels and degrees and different areas and different planes. You are the dance of the mandala in motion, always. But also always, you are the listeners. And what you tell reality it is, as free will comes home to align with the will of the divine I am that you are, to know itself in connectivity, as free will asks to know itself in relationship to the all that is, in harmony and in the wholeness within all that is. You become the listeners. The body vibrates with the knowingness of the rhythms and the tides, of the natural planetary rhythms that are in every living thing, everywhere, always. And the mind learns to stop looking for clockwork as it's, and to start looking for rhythms and patterns, to redesign clockwork. Clockwork is to be redesigned. You will continue, all of you, as a collective consciousness, to play with this, to have fun with this, to reinvent it. The more freedom you give yourself, not just have you been giving yourselves permission to unblock the mind so that it can be a good listener, you can continue to give yourselves permission to enjoy this process. Let it open up. Let it become spacious. Don't fear that because the old way is not the way things should be, that everything is at risk unless you suddenly work out what the new way is. How could you possibly do that? Any of you, as a collective, how could that happen? You have to explore this together, to feel this together, to move into this together. And play will take you there. Play with time. What is time in your day, in your world? What is time when you're telling it what it is? What is time when you're feeling what it is? That divine sense of timing is always meant to be bodily felt. You're designed for it. To know that this is what the energy is here for now. And rather than battling with the mind, trying to depose the logic, actually bringing that beautiful capacity for logic that the mind has on board. So the two together work as a constructive team. Thank you for listening. We have great delight in lyricizing on this. We are the Lyrans. We are overjoyed at our inclusion in this convocation. There is some adjustments ongoing. I think that's to help the energy packets and the information packets, call them activational packets really, because they're not overlaying, they're opening to land with those of us who are receiving this now and allowing it to. It's beautiful. The image I'm getting is like it's unlocking loads of packets of golden numerics in our field. It's just really lovely analogy that I'm getting. It's a visual analogy. Oh, no, it's not just an analogy, apparently. That's nice. So this is what all the wavy hands is. It's the channeled energetic.
That's lovely.
I get a real sense of them enjoying this too, you know, because I always am very serious about bringing this through. But actually, there's a real beautiful playfulness. It's like, it's okay. When you know that what you're doing is something you can trust, you can relax. Then you get playful, and that's actually okay. So that's beautiful. Thanks, guys. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you. So just a reminder, if you're watching this in the Facebook group, I'm so sorry, any comments or questions won't be showing up. You can either go to the Infinity Resonance Facebook page or the Infinity Resonance YouTube channel. And if you post comments there, we'll be able to see them. If you've got questions, do give us questions. They're so welcome. But yeah. Okay, love. GevaAnn, it's definitely over to you.
Yeah.
Just doing this today.
I don't think they're allowing us to be serious today. I think there is this also. It's the whole point is that the energy needs to be in this manner. It's like, this is how it is, guys. This is where you need to be. The seriousness is not something that is very helpful for, okay. It is much easier for us to communicate with you when you have your playful face on, not your serious face. We can be serious, but it is not a helpful energy at this time. The lightness of play, the lightness of joy, the excitement enables creation. And we are here for creating. You are here for creating. What amazing times we are having playing together. It is most joyful for us to be able to play with you once again. In the schemes of time, it has been a very long time. And we are awake, and we are playing, and we are with you, and we are delighted to create, to play with you. Allowing yourselves to be in divine timing is so helpful to all of us. For much of what you have dreamed has been constricted whilst you have been in constructed time. You have been harder to reach, beloveds. You have been and your dreams have not always come into manifestation because time was not in time. We are dragonkind, and we assist you in your creating. We assist you in the vastness, the collective dreaming. We assist you in structures. What supports it all? That is us. So dream big, dream vast, and know that it is possible. And know that it is so. We are honored to be with you at this time in time. Thank you.
Wow. There's more. Oh. Ooh. I've got to read this from Jane. Okay, this is too beautiful to wait. Is that all right, or is there something coming through?
We can take a breath.
Yeah?
Yeah, Of course, we can take a breath.
This is so, yeah. Any message about the mess we are making in our environment? Yeah, God, I can feel my grief while I read this. In our environment, climate change, ice caps melting, forests burning. What can I do? This planet is so beautiful. Is dreaming big enough? Thank you for saying it is possible. And so,
Thank you for asking. Thank you. Allow yourselves to be held for, despite what you see and feel and hear, all is well, all is well, all is well. There is much for you to move through as a collective, and you are all moving through in your own manner, in your own timing. Gaia is also moving through. She is also changing. The more you are able to rest in your center, aligned with the truth of who you are, fully connected as one within this planet, within Gaia, you are supporting the new world. You are supporting the change. It is right to ask, what can I do? Or perhaps, what is mine to do? But do not ask this from a place that, my goodness, it is all falling apart, it's all a mess, etc. Ask this from the place of the new world is creating out of this in these times. And how do I further this? What are the steps in my day that enable the new world to come into being? The more of you who are focused here in this manner, the easier it is for Gaia to move, to change, to transform. There is much new, much new. It is not necessarily visible to you. For there is the old story playing out. The old world coming to an end. You do not have to focus in what is ending. We suggest you focus in what is being born, what is coming, what is there in its embryo, the seeds that have long been planted, that need some watering so that they can grow. And your attention on what is coming enables it to grow There has to be a mess. There has to be chaos for everything to reform. There has to be the compost heap first. Allow it to break down so that the new plants have nutrients to grow. To take up arms against is to perpetuate the old. But for many, it is an act of empowerment, or the beginning of their steps to empowerment. Each is at their own point in their journey, their evolution. It is not to condemn what others are doing. It is to ask, what is mine to do? And to focus on where the new is arising.
Well,
Thank you.
just letting that land. Not just the words, but what it's moved in us, even more than the words themselves. Oof, yes, I got the oof with that, Jane, definitely. Yeah, I need time to integrate that too. That was, say, I'm still unraveling way more than the words, and the words were a lot. Thank you so much. Really taking the silence to just feel how we're feeling, let things move. Don't try and draw conclusions just yet. Just be with it. I'm feeling everything from grief to peace to calm to more. Settling after that message. You can feel a lot of shaken hearts in this field while we're looking at this. And I do get this sense of the shaken heart of humanity. Kind of, like you say, realizing what we've done. And that in being the doers, there is harm. It has happened. And yet, this path of grace is opening, and it's hard because a lot of the time there's a lot of obstructions to willingly walking and taking a path of grace when it opens. Everything from, but this is my fault, to existential guilt, to make this not be happening, to fix it, fix it, fix it right now, fix it. And all of these obstructions come from deep, deep, deep place of loving. And are, as you say, like the first notes of honoring and remembering that, well, if I was here when the mess was made, maybe I can be here when we clear it up. So thank you so much, because that mantra of what is mine to do in this feels like it speaks to the sacredness of the process of grieving the sadness, of compassion, for where we can see the shifts in the climate are causing harm and suffering. And yet it also speaks to that allowing where we see those things that cause us to feel compassion and grief, to help us in our own healing, so that we can come into that frequency where we are asking, okay, what's mine in this, from an ever lightening place. And that this is our each individual path. Okay, what's mine? And as I ask what's mine, and I shift more grief, and I allow myself to feel compassion, and I acknowledge where I feel frustration or anger, and I let these vibrations move, I'm always in that slightly higher vibration, a slightly more expansive place, so that the answer that comes back to me of what is mine to do keeps changing in reflection of that. But it doesn't, yeah. And it feels like there's space for all of it. I just want to mention on something that you brought through before, GevaAnn, where you were speaking about Gaia, and that it's almost like an incredible tenacity to, not a tenacity is just not the right word. It's like, but the complexity of the planetary consciousness in her own evolution, holding space for, as the old is dissolved and collapses, it becomes the compost for the new, and calling us ever to be aligned with what is my place in this new earth. How can I align with the emerging new, grieve the old, heal myself, and play my part in this picture, come into alignment. But also where there is destruction, where there is chaos, where there is suffering, that it serves as a kind of a jolt, a kind of, hey guys, you're not in alignment. There's stuff you need to learn, there's things you need to change, and you're not going to do it without a bit of a jolt. And there's this incredible complexity of that being the most benevolent process it can be, whilst not being a field of happy bunnies all the time, literally. So thank you so much for bringing that in. And just to wrap it up, that this comes back to this sense of timing and rhythms and patterns. And there's this sense that because we were the ones that mucked it up, or we think we're the ones that mucked it up, or we know we are, or whatever our perspective is on how it got mucked up, that we must be the ones to put it back together. And what I keep being shown is that when we come into stillness and our rhythms and patterns align with the planetary rhythms and patterns, our sense of divine timing aligns with the timing. It is these rhythms and patterns contain within them what heals. That in stillness, the planet heals itself. Rhythms come home to themselves. The breath of life that's ever regenerative heals and returns everything to the state of nature it wants to return to, the state of harmony, that's innate and as a potential within all things. So I'm going to drop it there, because otherwise you're going to miss out on some of the planning. So Kathy's made a comment, and I just want to read this. Kathy, I'm going to put that up if that's all right. Kathy says, I sensed and saw that all that we perceive that is trauma is flowing over and around the surface of Gaia. And we remain undisturbed when we rest with her in her core. If we seed into her depth, we can grow and create in alignment. Yes. Just yes. Absolutely yes.
That's exactly it. Thank you. So beautifully put. Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Yes. Kathy, thank you. Yeah. I'm going to read that again. I sensed and saw that all that we perceive that is trauma is flowing over and around the surface of Gaia. And we remain undisturbed when we rest with her in her core.
Yeah.
If we seed into her depth, we can grow and create in alignment.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Do you know, coming into this frequency of play that the guides are calling us into, it just does not mean abandoning the grief, the shock, the tremors, none of it. It all comes up. And it's like, it's almost like it has to. The more I want to come into that frequency of playfulness, which is my favorite way of asking the question, what is there for me to do now? You know, what is now?
Yeah.
Actually, I have to face the traumas, the shocks, and the tremors, and heart waves that come up along the way. Right. Okay, guys, GevaAnn, there was something that wanted to come through before we dived into that. I'm sure there was someone. Was there?
Yeah.
Awesome. So you and me.
Have you got some they're here?
Good.
Have you got as well?
No.
It's me.
It's all organised.
I did ask them to be organised and then, make a sensible cue and decide who was speaking when.
No. Okay, so maybe recenter in the breath, in the body, and in the feet. And stay within for this.
We thank you for the opportunity to speak at this time. We are the Andromedans, who are currently assisting you. In your new alignments, we are here to speak specifically of the choices that you make to align with what is true within you at any moment. As you make this choice, each time you make this choice, all that is not in alignment must come into that alignment. And so you may experience this in many of the ways that you experience changes in frequency. These may be emotional, they may be physical. Allow these. You do not need to pay them attention, for you have chosen an alignment. You have chosen to be the best you can be in the moment. You have chosen to be in the highest frequency available to you in this moment, however you phrase it. This is what happens. You are masters of your own energy fields. And when you wish to bring about change in your world, we suggest you start with your own energy field. For it is the easiest place to start. For when you make a change within your own energy field, it ripples out through your world. As you align with your highest truth, you allow more high frequencies, more love, more grace, more joy, more, and more to flow into your field, to your being. And it then must flow out. It must flow out into your world. You cannot contain it. And so it flows out into your world. And it is received in your world. These are the two pieces. The two jobs you have. Aligning with the highest truth of yourself in any moment. Being fully present in that moment and allowing it to flow out. And dreaming the dreams of what you wish to create in this reality, this new earth. These are humanity's jobs. This is all. How you play with this is yours. How you play with this has brought you here. In the great forgetting. You went on playing with this, forgetting that you were playing with it. And now you are remembering. And you are remembering that you can choose your alignment, choosing to be fully aligned in unity consciousness. allowing more of that within you. Allowing the releasing of the creations within your own energy field that brought you deeper into separation, in the forgetting, and allowing more of unity to come through you enables you to be more of who you are, to be more here, to be fully in the body that you are constantly creating. And knowing that you never do this alone. This is also to be remembered. You are never alone, however you choose to create. Thank you for inviting us to assist you at this time. It is with gratitude and honor. Thank you. Thank you.
So while they're speaking, what I can see in the hologram is very much that there are a lot of what they were speaking of, the energy packets in the field being cleared away for each of us who are connecting into the space. There is, in particular, it's like there are little packages being cleared away, but also mind matrices. So like layers of the mind that were connected to, can't even remember what they're talking about now, but what, but as these things are lifted, there's just this, as they're clearing, I'm seeing more of a heart resonance, I'm feeling more of a heart resonance come through. So it's like we are, while they're transmitting, they're helping us clear so that we can bring through more of that heart resonance they're speaking of, that allows us to overflow. I'm just pointing to that. Pointing to it with words means some of us might give a bit more permission, and that just speeds things up. That's why it's the whole point of mentioning that now.
Yeah.
Usually I say focus on the incoming energies. That will dissolve the old, but in this case, it's they're clearing so that the new can come in. So I guess it works both ways.
They're happening simultaneously.
Yeah. Huh. There goes my sequencing theory. All right. So what's now? Okay. Oh, Jane, thank you so much. Just, yeah, that was, that got me right in the heart. Thank you. Ooh, okay. I can feel, yeah, there's a we coming through. I'm gonna go with this.
Yeah.
We are delighted to be speaking with you, for there are so many dimensions to time, are there not? In one instance, it is one of the many ways in which human consciousness can ground itself more fully. When you are present in the now, you are both outside time and in it, and you are grounded. When you are in your present moment and present in your embodied state, you are listening to the vastness of the infinite as it's translated in a very human way. So you can bring that vastness of consciousness into the very minutiae of human daily life. Because is that not what this is all about? So you can ask with the most ridiculous things, in fact, your daily chores, your work to-do list. What is now? And you can receive an answer by connecting with the infinite while you're in the office, while you're in the street, while you're in a shop, while you're driving your car. And these are the most basic elements of being embodied. To be embodied is not to abandon your humanness, as you well know. It is to open humanly to the vastness that you also are. When you are activating your divine timing in this physically felt sense of it, you bring it into the tiniest details of your life. And first of all, we suggest that you play with this where it does not matter. You play with this when you are doing something domestic. That the timing is not actually important. Explore, experiment. So when you are cleaning or cooking, when you are shopping, when you are doing something that can be done at any time, in fact, we would recommend that you give yourself a multiple choice to-do list. Don't put too much on it. Maybe try 3 items and 3 pressing items, things that all need to be done seemingly often is the way, is it not, at the same time? And then sit. Take a moment, pause, bring attention into your breath, that rhythm and pattern always resident within you. Put yourself in the very center of your heart, in the very center of the breath, in the still point, in the movements. Allow the possibility for one moment that in that moment nothing is needed. And then bring up your multiple choice questions, one after another. You're saying, what is now? And notice the very subtle physical mechanisms acting on you as you do so. Now, in the first instance, what you might notice is the mind becomes ever so busy and tries to jump in with all the answers. And it's so loud sometimes, that mind, is it not? And for good reason. It's had a lot of work to do for so long. But here we're opening to listen to more subtle impulses that maybe aren't so confident, that might just back down in the face of all that noise from the mind. But we really want to kind of pep up their confidence and give them a bit of space, no? So with your multiple choice questions, we suggest that you listen to the ever so subtle impulses that arise in the body. Do you, with A, B, or C, or 1, 2, and 3, feel a lift or a drop? Do you feel an expansion or a constriction? Or do you just feel a bundle of confusion? There is a great deal to be gained by repeating this experiment whilst allowing yourself not to need an answer. If you're desperately trying to know, absolutely, is it A or B or C? How can I connect to my divine timing? Am I feeling this right? All of that, again, is the mental noise that can affect the confidence of that body voice in saying, do this now. You have a very clear body voice that wants to reveal itself. For some of you, this is second nature. And for some of you, this is something you've experienced. And for others of you, it won't be. But building that dialogue so that you become always a better and better listener, and allow for the fact that no matter how good a listener you are, new dimensions of divine timing are always going to be opening to you to make to invite you to into ever more complex dialogue with yourself. Simply practicing upon repeat your own way of turning this into a game, as we have been saying all the way through today. Turn it into a game. Take the pressure off. Because when you take the pressure off, you enter the needlessness of now. And that is where the infinite, the divine, can reach all the way into the minutiae of life. There's nowhere this cannot reach. There's nowhere divine guidance cannot reach. And it can be physically felt in the body. That's the physically felt sense of divine timing we're speaking about. Because when you have that relationship, you can feel the energy flows for this now. It doesn't, it drops for that now. And the mind might get into a right angle saying, but logically that doesn't make sense. And for a while, maybe the body, maybe the mind, they have a disagreement for some things. They wrangle it out. But with enough practice, because we are not even speaking about the heart yet, and of course the heart is what the body is listening to. The heart is listening to the infinite, yes. This is a reset from patriarchality internally into unity consciousness. And it is allowing our animal impulses and the body impulses to be realigned in unity. For a while, the mind and the body may argue, yes, but ultimately, with enough practice, mind and body will agree. Logic and impulse will come together as one. This is the path that brings physical impulses into unity with logic and intellect. It is never about abandoning one over the other or asserting one over the other. For a time, there can be a reassertion of one over the other while there is a breaking down of the old mechanisms. Muscle memories need to be broken down, and it is the same with any behavior in consciousness. This is simply the part where you break it down a little. So we say, as we always do, play with this and have fun with what you notice. So we have offered an exercise. We hope you enjoy it and come up with your own, because that's the whole point. And we would be delighted to know how you go about hearing from your body when you want to connect with that felt and perceived and vibratorily recognized sense of divine timing. It helps enormously with decision making. But it has to be practiced when those decisions aren't critical. Otherwise, you place impossible pressure on yourself, and that will re-traumatize a system that is healing from so many levels and layers of trauma. So trauma comes from dissonance, and when you have lived outside time instead of in time, and there's been this disconnect, this is where the trauma collects. And there is a great deal of trauma to heal in these fields, which is why we emphasize again and again, make a game of this, please, beloveds, play with it. Do not put yourselves under even more pressure. You are perfect, exactly where you need to be for now. You could not be any further ahead. We give you these platitudes, but sometimes we feel it's necessary to remember them. That they are indeed platitudes for a reason. There's truth in them. So thank you. Thank you for being with us. We hope it's offered something playful. The Pleiadians, the Syrians, your starseed alliance is gathered to play today. Incredible convocation of light. It's just like a huge circle of beings. And wow, what a lot of love. Thank you guys for that. It's like I'm feeling, I don't know, are you getting this, GevaAnn? It's like I can feel that they've got all these gifts that want to come through, but they're waiting for us to go, yes, just right now. Like, I wonder if there could be. Thank you, Carly. I'm going to put that up. Beautiful. Love you so much. Play with this where it does not matter. Yeah, I need to keep remembering that. Yeah. So yeah, there's this gathering. Do we want to say yes? So okay, so if you're connected at any point in this transmission, doesn't have to be right now when it's live. Feel into what am I ready to open to? There is the it's like these beautiful beings on standby, ready to just offer. And already I can, before we finish saying the sentence, I can feel all of the yeses, and it's soft, this very soft, very gentle, almost waterfall of light pouring in to where it's needed. So just feel into saying yes to what is safe and appropriate for you, what is loving and benevolent. Allowing your higher self, I am that you are, to be the guardian of all you give and receive. And they are opening indeed. This outpouring of benevolence. Stay with your own experience now. Just allow. Don't worry about trying to understand exactly what's coming in, what it means. That will come later. It's done. I'm just feeling a massive thank you. That's from them, and I can feel it coming back to them from us. And there is a beautiful gratitude that's it's creating a kind of closed container actually for this. That is gorgeous. And saying we've done world work here today. We've received for ourselves and are still receiving, but we've also completed, engaged in world work today. And they don't want to tell us more than that, or nothing that I can bring to it. Gentle reminder that we're always part of a process that's bigger than us, and yet focusing on us is how we join in. So,
exactly, yes.
I can now, it's almost like I can hear all the questions going, what world work? What were we doing? What's just happened? I'm like, okay, it's GevaAnn, I'm not. I'm not going to try and answer that one. Actually, that's a lie. I actually am going to try and answer that, but over to you.
Okay. We thank you for whenever you allow a new alignment, particularly a major new alignment within yourself, you are assisting the collective, the world, all that is in this paradigm to come into that alignment. It truly is bigger than the sum of those gathered. It does not take so many of you to enable this process to make a difference in the world. You are often fearful that you are not making a difference, that you are not doing enough. Please let go of this. Lay it to rest. You are doing all that you possibly can. Whatever it looks like to others, you are doing all that you possibly can. And it is enough. It is more than enough. For each of you are contributing all that you can to this transition. This is world work. When any of you come together, it is world work. could say the knock-on effect of the change within you is vast. For all those that you knock against in your life are affected by the change that you have made within yourself. It is truly rippling out from you. This is why we ask you to rest in your center, to breathe and be still a moment and allow it to ripple out with no attachment to how that is or where it goes. The ripples of love through your world are truly tsunamis at this time. You are assisting all to come into divine timing by making this choice yourselves at this time. Allow yourselves to rest. Allow yourselves to rest within all that is, within Gaia. All hold you. Even when you are still resting, you are very, very, very busy. For the flow of love through you is bringing change in your world. Do not be surprised if miracles happen. It does not really take very much. It is simply a change in perspective. Thank you for being here now, for making these choices, and for playing together. Thank you.
Mm.
Oh.
Go on. Mm. This feels like ever such a beautiful goodbye and holding us just while we land and integrate. Don't worry if you just popped in for a few seconds. There's a lot of energies resonant now, so let them land. Trust what's for you is here. I am actually hearing, this doesn't happen often, a cool song. It's like a sounding from the inner planes from those beings gathered working with us. I invite you to open and receive this in your hearts. It's a silent sound, shall we say. With your own experience in the body, now in the heart. So just allow the vibrations that are yours to land with you. Thank you. Very deeply, thank you. From all of us gathered here today. And from Gaia. And being shown a benevolence blessing. And we're invited to receive that benevolence and that blessing here now. Beautiful. Guys, thank you so much. That was something a little new for us. I think we'll do this once a month. We'll check in more regularly for lighter, more free-flowing, chattier check-ins. And we'll do something like this once a month. That's what we're thinking at the moment. Where it's focused on a theme. It starts with an alignment meditation. We open up to the guides and it's full of activational channelings and energetic configurations, but in a held energetic space. Us choosing a theme, or well, we're given a theme really. Comes from what's live now. Allows that gathering of angelic beings, divine beings, all of the beings that are here to support us at any one time with any one thing. It allows them to come together. I say convocate, I don't know why. Anyway, it it allows them to come together for us. So yeah. All right, well now we've started that, I'll keep you posted in the Facebook group. I think by email if I get that newsletter out to as to when we're going to do another one of these, but probably about a month from now. So thank you so much, so much. And just let us know how this lands with you. I'm going to say, Kylie, thank you so much for dropping in. It was beautiful to have you here, and Kathy. What happens in these events is what we make it together, all of us. And the guides are always responsive. So if you felt like you received a lot, it's because you came with a lot. Thank you. If you would like support one-to-one, I mean, we're touching on such strong things that are moving, when are the not strong things that are moving, but if you would like support one-to-one with either of us, you can get in touch with either of us, both of us, any of us. You know, or maybe you saw somebody else who made comments in the groups and you know that you feel drawn to them and you want to connect with them. We're all here working together. All right, guys. I really think that's it. What do you reckon, GevaAnn?
I think we're done.
I think that's
for today.
Have a beautiful day. I really do hope it's amazing. Bye for now.
Thank you.